ensure God power. Get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. Remember in the video example, turning back the clock with Ellen Langer? There was lots of evidence and proof of aging with those old men who were in the experiment. However, as they were placed in a setting that reminded them of when they were young, all this so-called proof and evidence started changing to a younger state of being. How do these experts on aging explain that cells were now dividing properly and repairing themselves again as if they were young again? If this were truly a purely physical bodily function that was unstoppable and inevitable, then how do you explain that not only did it stop, it reversed? It is a very simple explanation. The body cannot age because it is a representation. When you think that you are aging, it is faithfully representing that for you, just as you expect it to. When you think that you are younger, it will faithfully represent that for you also. Your body doesn't age. It can't. How do you want to be represented? Well, that's up to you. The formula is very simple. What you believe in your reality creates a vibration that, when coupled with the power of resonance, not only elicits the evidence and proof of itself, but it also elicits the reality of itself as well. That's worth saying again. What you believe in your reality creates a vibration that, when coupled with the power of resonance, not only elicits the evidence and proof of itself, but it also elicits the reality of itself as well. You don't get just the proof, you get the reality. You can't just, it's not just seeing that it is. In the placebo example, the sugar pill being a cure was a figment of your imagination, and it still cured you. Aging is a figment of your imagination also, and it is still aging you. In short, you create aging in the same way that you can create good health or bad health or anything else in your experience, by eliciting it into existence. So how can you stop aging? Well, first, know that there's no such thing as aging. If you don't know that, you can't stop aging. You can't. So, just knowing that you can stop aging is a huge step. Do you realize that the body doesn't even have a way to age, since it is only a representation? When you realize something, you are making it real. It only represents what you think it is. If you think that it is sick, it is. If you think that it has high blood pressure, it does. If you think that your eyes are blue, they are. But if you are a multiple personality, that same body can represent many different conditions depending on whose body concept / image it is representing at the time. The different personalities. What a multiple does inadvertently, you can do on purpose. Here are the two different thought responses based on your level of consciousness. First, lower level of consciousness. This is the level where bodies are real things that really function. At this level, you can realize that your cells are constantly being replaced with brand new cells. At any given time, your body is no more than 12 months old. Let's look at this illustration. Remember the illustration on faith. Faith was the doorway. It was the way to get in to the reality go-round. Because first you have belief and knowing, which elicits proof and evidence. But then if you have the proof and evidence, it gets belief and knowing. So it goes round and round. So how do you get in? You can't get in except by faith. So if you have the faith to believe that bodies are always new, renewing themselves, then by having the faith of that, by giving that some belief, by extending belief to that before you have the proof, then you will elicit proof and evidence of it. Here it says, you could decide that no matter how many birthdays you have, your body will remember that it is constantly renewing the cellular foundation of the structure with new cells, and that you intend not to age any longer. After all, if you can stop eating for 30 years, you can stop aging also. Now the higher level of consciousness. This is the bigger picture when you realize that bodies are just projected representations. At this level, you can easily realize that aging is a function of your thoughts, beliefs, and meanings, and nothing more. Recognize that you have a represented body that doesn't actually see anything, feel anything, doesn't even have to eat or drink, can withstand fire, is impervious to injury, doesn't have to do anything because it isn't doing anything anyway. It is only representing faithfully your own image of yourself, be it young, old, healthy, sick, or whatever. At this level, you realize that if the body has no real physical functions, then how could it still age? Why would it still age? If it does nothing else, why would aging be the one thing that it can do? Realize that bodies can't and don't age. If you have the faith that this is true, you will begin to elicit more and more evidence and proof that this is true. Once again, we're going to look at the reality go-round illustration. Once again, belief and knowing elicits proof and evidence creates belief and knowing. So how do you get in? You get in by faith. Bodies can't and don't age. You have to have faith that that's true. And after reading this book, after seeing all those examples, after knowing what's going on, I know you know that's true. Bodies can't age. That's like an avatar on the computer. How's it going to age? It has to be programmed to age. It can't age by itself. Those multiple personalities, when they change the personality set, when they change the belief and meaning set to a different set, diseases disappeared. Eye color changed, eye condition changed, high blood pressure, diabetes, all that stuff changed. Because it was being represented. It's like your avatar. Picture having your avatar, take your avatar in Second Life and give it diabetes. How did it get diabetes? You programmed it in. How can it get rid of diabetes? Can the avatar go to an avatar hospital and get rid of diabetes? No. You have to change the program. You have to take it out at the beliefs and meaning stage, at the program stage. You go in there and change it and it's gone. Just like that. If you want your avatar to age as you do, you have to go in there and periodically make it look older. That's what you're doing to yourself. You're periodically making yourself look older. We haven't got to it yet. But further on, later on in some other chapters, we're going to get to ghosts and realities of ghosts. They just pop into sight just like that. Because you see, back in chapter 2, when we talked about how you got here, you created yourself here. The reason why you were born is because you wanted a realistic reality. Okay? You wanted a realistic immersion. So the only way to get that is to be born into this reality. Because if you just flashed into this reality, it would be very hard for you to believe that you're really a physical being, wouldn't it? People just showed up like that. Very hard to believe. So you get born into it, and then you can believe it. It's just a fantastic system. But the body is just a projection. It can't age. It can't age. If we have learned one thing we have learned that meaning is king, and that nothing happens without it, and at the same time, meaning is the one thing that we have total control over. Just remember the multiple personality people who can change body conditions in an instant just by a thought, and Ellen Langer, who proved that aging is in the mind and that we can be tricked into becoming younger. If you want to stop it altogether, you have to not believe in it.
To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, chapter number 10, segment number 50. Let your quest for knowing continue.